The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corkin Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corkin Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corkin Entertainment Show. I am your host, Frankie Corcoran. Just testing out my new headphones. I decided to treat myself before Christmas. Not by choice. It was also because my good old headphones that I've been using probably since the podcast started finally shit the bed. They were Beats that I've had for years that I just plugged an aux cord into and then plugged into the computer. So, I mean, nothing really fancy, but I mean, gotta use those Beats for pretty well everything. And rest in peace to my Beats. They shit the bed. But I just got these new ones here. The brand is, I've never had this brand before, Hesh Ank. I feel like I'm butchering that. But HESH space ANC. That's what the headphones are called. So just highly recommend them. And someone who probably manufactured it or something like that is listening to this going, what the hell are you talking about? That's not at all what it's pronounced. But anyway, just testing them out, and so far they're working great, and I highly recommend them, whether it's for yourself or for a loved one this holly jolly season. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the show today. I'm going to plug this again for Rockin' Riverfest, the Brett Kissel concert with Amelia Underhill and Amber Walls and Signal Hill this summer, July 25th. Just click the link in our episode description for tickets. Going to be a great show. So we're getting the promotions out. Tickets are going quickly, so I want to just do some plugs for that. Yeah, and aside from that, not really much. We got one more episode. Happy Thursday, by the way. And we have our season finale on Tuesday. So hope you guys are enjoying it. Very excited about our guest today, Michael Dodsworth. He is the founder of Fanfare, which is a platform designed to make product launches fairer and more efficient for both the fans and the actual brands. He's been working in this field for well over 2 decades, and had a great conversation with him. We're going to put the link in the episode description to Fanfare. You can check out all the amazing stuff that Michael does. Talk about a lot of different things. Thank you to Michael for coming on. And yeah, so without further ado, guys, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corkin Entertainment Show. I am your host, Frankie Corcoran, and today I am joined by the founder and CEO of Fanfare, which is the platform turning product drops into sellouts without the chaos. Very excited to have him on here today. Michael Dodsworth. Michael, how's it going, man?
It's great to be here. I'm doing well.
So what accent is that you have right now? Is that, I'm just going to guess, you're from the UK, are you?
I am. My accent is a complete mess. I was just actually back to see family, so it's like this weird mix of Northern English. That's where I'm from originally, from a place called Leeds. But it's been dragged all over the place. I'm kind of middle of the Atlantic at this point, I think.
Well, no, it's good. Well, I mean, do you find like the more you travel, I mean, like, of course, being a CEO of a big company, I'm sure you're probably traveling all over the place and everything. Do you find like being around certain people or being in certain countries and stuff that really has an impact on you? Because some people, they're able to not let it change them. But for you, how has it been?
Family. It's always family. It takes maybe 15 minutes on a call with my family, and I'm right back to Leeds. Like my accent has kind of adapted, I think. I've had to adjust because people started to just stare at my mouth and kind of nod politely. Like it's not the easiest accent for, especially for Americans to just kind of jump in with. So it's in a weird adjustment, and like my family notice for sure, but it only takes 10, 15 minutes and I'm right back.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it's something that you can adjust to for sure. And it's really amazing. Sometimes people with accents that, like actors will go through this a lot, where you see them on screen and and like they're talking in a regular like American accent. And you're just like, holy crap, that's fantastic. But you're not even really thinking like obviously that's how they talk in real life. And then you hear an interview with them and they're talking like this, and you're like, holy shit. Like they're
Yeah.
British, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like Hugh Laurie in particular, like
Like
he
Hugh
is
Laurie
so
or
good.
one of the greatest is Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead, the lead guy from The Walking Dead. I still remember the
Absolutely.
first time I saw an interview with him after seeing like the first three seasons, and then seeing an interview with Andrew Lincoln. I'm like, what? Like, how is this possible? Like, this dude,
Uh,
he's English or he's British? Just it absolutely blows my mind. Are there any other actors aside from like you mentioned Hugh Laurie that you heard interviews with and you were like, what the shit?
yeah, Andrew Lincoln's definitely there. I grew up, there was a soap that he was in where he played like a lawyer or lived with a bunch of lawyers, and that was a very Southern English show. And then seeing him just turn up with a perfect, well, to my ears, a perfect American accent was pretty spectacular. Hugh Laurie as well. I grew up with him. He's very crisp English accent, and then you see him on whatever, and it's weird. It's strange seeing the stuff coming out of his mouth. But yeah, for me, like my accent should be more Sean Bean.
Oh yeah.
Uh, a lot of missing consonants and things like that, but it's definitely been tweaked and adjusted, and I seemingly have no control over it. It just ends up this way.
So Sean Bean. So you have a death wish or something? Because every movie Sean Bean's in or TV show, he dies.
Yeah, first season, usually immediately. Yeah, I
Or
don't know
first season.
why. Yeah, Sean Bean has definitely done some shows and movies and things where he's had to do like a very crisp Southern English accent, and it that always sounds so strange to me because he is Northern. He's a very Northern English actor, and it seems strange that you would hire him to do something other than that. But yeah, he's great.
But it's weird to see Sean Bean act, because for me sometimes I see him in the roles and I'm just like, okay, how long is he going to last? I don't have time to fully appreciate what he's doing. I'm just like, okay, we're 10 minutes in. Okay, is he going to die now? Like you just kind of jump right to that.
I feel like
um
they could play off that, right? They could just keep him going. Like sometime along this plot line, he needs to go, right? But he just keeps
Oh yeah,
going.
like Sean Bean's like Kenny from South Park, where you're just like, okay, when's he gonna die? What
That's
what?
right.
The
Uh-huh.
episode's not done yet, and he hasn't died yet. Like, when's he gonna go? You're always just
Hmm.
wondering that with Sean Bean. But yeah, it's truly fantastic what some of these actors are able to do. Look at us, we're already
The
we're already
accent.
what, like 5 minutes in. We're talking about accents and Sean Bean. It's kind of funny how it starts, but that just shows how easy you are to talk to for sure. But tell us a little bit about Fanfare, what it is for those people wondering. We kind of gave a little brief description of it, and we'll put the link in our episode description and show notes for where you guys can check it out. But feel free to tell the audience what exactly is Fanfare.
Yeah, I think fanfare came out of frustration as a consumer for me. So I am a big live events person. Like I'm always festivals, concerts, and so on. Have been since very early in the UK, and always the same frustration, always the same issues trying to get tickets to anything. You end up in those incredibly frustrating queues. Like you're looking at the spinner, you have your multiple tabs open, your cup of coffee ready, multiple people on the phone all doing the same thing, and then the tickets just vanish and appear on some secondary market for 100x the price. Right? It's an incredibly frustrating experience. And I, as an engineer at the time, came through a live events ticketing startup called Rival, where we actually try to address some of these issues and try and make it fair for the fans and make it easier for the fans to actually attend the events they cared about. And we were then, as a startup, scooped up by Ticketmaster of all people at the start of the pandemic. And that's where I decided, you know what, I really need to solve this problem. It's bothering me every time I try and buy tickets for anything. Anytime I try and buy something that's scarce, I'm in that same broken consumer experience. It doesn't matter if it's a sneaker drop, if it's some luxury item that I'm kind of lusting after, if it's a Switch 2 or a PS5 way back in the pandemic, like it's always a broken experience. Like we just assume it's going to be bad, right? We assume that Best Buy is going to fall over and I'm going to have to rotate through multiple vendors to try and get my thing. I'm assuming I'm going to have to try multiple times. It's never going to remember who I am. And the fact that I've done this 5 times in a row and failed. And that's where Fanfare comes in. So we want to allow brands, retailers, ticketing vendors to run a fair process. We will make that process equitable and something that doesn't cause your site to fall over. And we'll remove all of the bots, the bad actors, the scalpers that come in through that process and try and game the system. So really just trying to avoid that problem that we've all seen and been frustrated with. It doesn't matter if it's ticketing, live events, luxury items, or just trying to get like swim meet tickets for your kid. It's always the same broken experience.
So it's essentially a platform designed to uh, fight the bots.
Yeah, fight the bots and provide a better experience. Like as a sneakerhead, I fail multiple times to get the thing I want, right? And it would be good if the brand was able to reward my time and effort. Like I'm spending meaningful time with the brand. Why not offer those people the kind of L Club, as one brand has called them, exclusive access for the next drop? Recommend something that they can come into, maybe give them a better chance of winning the next one because they've tried repeatedly. Like they're potential VIPs, they just have bad luck. So we can help you run a process like that.
And that's great. And it's kind of funny. So for I came on here today, I was at a meeting for a festival that we're actually doing here in Miramichi, New Brunswick, where I live. It's called the Rock and River Festival. We actually announced at the time of this recording, Brett Kissel, country star, is going to be the big performer, and it's already, as soon as it was announced, you're having people are calling for tickets, they're booking tickets. It's a huge, especially concerts too, because people get so competitive when it comes to concerts, especially for a singer who they absolutely love and admire, that they will literally. It's almost kind of sad to see the stoops that people will go to just to get tickets to some concert. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's absolutely insane the amount of corruption there is when it comes to those types of events. So of all the different services you provide, I mean, obviously we talked about festivals just for a second, but I mean, it's you guys do so much more aside from that, retailers, things like that. But would you say that festivals and those types of concerts are probably the trickiest parts of the job, like most difficult clients, I guess you could say, to deal with?
They are. And it's interesting being in the live event space and seeing all of the different parties involved and all of the different kind of incentives that those parties might have. Like, it's actually preferable for a promoter to be able to say that something sold out in 5 minutes. But that means creating enormous hype that's going to drive a ton of people to the website all at once so you can sell out in 5 minutes. And that's not what the ticketing vendor wants. And then there's all kinds of issues around like wanting to mitigate risk. When I was working at Rival and we spoke to teams, they would often sell a lot of their seats would be sold way ahead of time at the start of the season because they weren't sure if the team was going to perform or not. And to try and deal with some of that risk, they would just pass it off onto other vendors. They're essentially providing like an insurance company kind of setup where they would buy the tickets in advance, which means when they actually put tickets on sale, a good chunk of the venue is already gone. And then you fold in things like an Amex pre-sale and your VIP members and so on. Like a very small portion of that venue is actually left for everyone else. And that's a kind of a painful process to deal with and difficult to untangle all of the incentives to try and find a way that we can like open this up to the general public.
Yes, no, and it's also so funny whenever too like talking about bots and things like that, and when it comes to, because I mean in selling tickets to shows and stuff like that around here, it's so funny whenever you have access to all of the ticket sales. You have access to all of it, whether it's through Eventbrite or it's through whatever the case may be, physical tickets, paid in cash, whatever. And then it's so funny when you have access to all of that and you have the bots on Facebook who will then comment on every post and go, "Hi, I just bought 10 tickets. It turns out I can't go. Would you like them?" And you're just kind of like looking at that person's name, and then you go and you look at who bought tickets and you're like, so far we've only sold 3 tickets to this show. We haven't sold, it's just absolutely ridiculous what people will go through when it comes to bots. Bots are really the big thing, especially for big festivals and things like that too. What would you say is probably the worst thing about dealing with bots online? How do you tell if they're real? How do you tell? Because even like AI and stuff like that has gotten to the point now, I talk about this a lot. It's gotten to the point now that I get scared of AI because the fact that I'm actually trying to think, is this real? Like the fact that I'm even trying to rationalize in my mind whether this is real or not is scary. Like the levels, how it's evolved. What would you say is probably the scariest part about AI or bots when it comes to your business endeavors?
Yeah, I think there's a spectrum of like how incentivized people are to go and try and scam or try and work around the system. And it goes from just, kids who like want a pair of sneakers and are savvy and just want to go in and see how the site works and try and work around it, to people who have this as a business and just scoop up enormous chunks of the inventory when it goes on sale and have all kinds of resources and bot farms and things like that. I think the tricky thing with what we're doing, especially now, as you mentioned, AI, is that more of these tools have been put in front of people who, maybe don't have enormous resources, right? They can go in, they can start building these bots in a way that they couldn't before, and they can use techniques that weren't available to them before, and they can do things in a lot more sophisticated way than they could before. So what we're seeing is just these bots. Everyone is moving up the spectrum. Everyone is getting more sophisticated in the techniques that they can employ to try and work around the system. So it makes my job harder, but it makes it more important that you don't just try and cross your fingers and hope for the best, because if there's an incentive for people to find a way around, they will, especially now. So I don't know where this goes. In a couple of years, I'm sure there's more and more sophisticated ways to work around the system. We keep thinking of interesting ways that we can try and make sure that these people in line are humans. We're thinking about ways that we can maybe provide some kind of interactive game that people play as they wait. You have a few minutes, you want to be entertained, you're happy just to play a game, like maybe with the people who are already in line with you as part of a community. And that can help us provide signal that you are an actual person and not a bot coming in. So we're thinking about interesting ways to solve it, but it's only going to get harder. And like I say, in a couple of years, I'm not sure what the tooling is going to look like. It's kind of moved crazily in the last 2 years. So it's definitely not a problem you want to just hope for the best on.
Yeah, and like lately, it's. I mean, like there's always been bots on the internet too. Like it would even get to the point where like I would follow certain YouTubers who people just to be dicks would flag their videos and send all these false reports to YouTube. A bot would look at it and just immediately ban that channel or demonetize that channel or whatever the case may
Mm.
be. And it's sad that they don't even give a human the chance to look at it. They just a bot will just see it, they'll see someone's complaint and just go. It's almost like the Me Too movement where or cancel culture, where somebody makes an accusation or against somebody, immediately without any investigation, boom, that person's guilty, boom, their life is changed in just a matter of seconds. Where bots have also become the same type of thing, where you can just go on Instagram to someone's profile. I could go on Michael's profile right now if I wanted to and flag him for something, and using a bot account or whatever, and they would take my word for it, or they would take my bot's word for it. Which it's sad that it's really gotten to the point now where maybe it's cheaper, okay, but come on, guys, like the future of your business is in the hands of robots here, really. And yes, people say they've been around for a long time. I still remember in high school, I would get messages from those bot accounts on Facebook that are that it's a really really hot girl in the picture, and you're like, oh great, this girl's really into me, and she just moved here to my hometown, and then you start talking, and stupid you, as soon as they start asking you for money, I never paid them. First off, I'm just saying that. As soon as they start asking for money, you're like, oh, this isn't at all what I thought it was going to be. And now I have $10,000 of credit card debt. But here we are. No, but
Yep.
but there are
Yeah.
people who have done that. There are people who have
Uh-huh.
done that to the point now where that's what's damaging a lot of people's businesses online is the bots. And you were saying you don't really know where the future lies because of all this stuff. But are you in the mindset, or are you able to see the mindset that some people have, where they say it's cheaper to use AI than it is to pay somebody who does this full time? Like, do you agree as a business owner? Do you kind of see that side of the coin, or are you just no, hire a person to do it? You're paying for the best. How do you view that?
Yeah, I view it as this incredible tool that people can use. So it makes people more efficient, it makes people more effective, but it's driven by a person, right? Like it's employed by a person. So like for me personally, building a service like this, it's made me able to do things that I couldn't do before. I can definitely lean on it to do things that I would want it to before, but it's not something you just hand over the keys to. Like you don't just get rid of people and then just have bots try and replace them, right? You just make the people more effective at what they do. And that's definitely disruptive, right? If you can get stuff done with fewer people, that's a disruption in and of itself. But I see a lot of people just kind of have this polarized view where it's not used at all, or it's used wholesale just to replace people. And my feeling is like it's a tool that can make you more efficient, like a lot of things that we use, right? And I think as you see it that way, it's certainly disruptive, but it doesn't cause you to just kind of cut away whole chunks of your business because you think you can replace it with AI. I don't know. I feel like over the next couple of years, it's going to get a lot more difficult for people to identify issues. Like I think about those scams that people were sent where there were huge grammar mistakes, the spelling mistakes, like it didn't really make sense because it wasn't coming from, you know, an actual person who wanted to do this. I feel like all of those phishing attacks, those scams, they're probably incredibly well worded now. The grammar mistakes are gone. Like it looks a lot more convincing than it did before. And that's a huge problem. And I would like to see platforms try and match them or try and put investment into identifying these things in a more sophisticated way than they do right now, because I don't really see either people been used to try and police these places or try and use to moderate some of these things. And for sure, there's no real effort into moderation with bots and improving that. Because, like you say, we've all had the issues with like unsophisticated bots been used for customer support, where you just end up screaming representative 6 or 7 times because it's just not getting you anywhere close. Like those can be improved, and it can mean that you leave your best people able to service those kind of weird and wonderful requests, and they take away a lot of toil. So yeah, absolutely as a tool, but like I say, over the next couple of years, my concern is that it kind of trims away some of the more junior positions. Like engineering is my background, and I can see people lean probably too heavily on the just give me an answer, not can you help me learn how this works type of approach. And I also see companies, larger companies in particular, who are just kind of chasing margins, think about removing people, and that's a huge concern.
It's so funny when you talk about like yelling at bots who are customers, because like I so I'm not going to say what site it was, because I don't want to put people on blast or anything, but there was a app that I wanted to use for something to do with business. And so they basically had the plans out, they laid it all out, and it said $12.99 a month. I said, okay, that's perfect. That's I just need it for like 2 months. So I paid it, and then I checked my online banking. They charged me the whole year. So you do,
Mm,
you
yeah.
do 12, yeah, 12 times, we'll say 13, 156 times that, add taxes and everything like that, conversions. I was out like, quite a bit of money that I did not, I was like, I just wanted to pay for 2 months. So I went onto the site and it was just like, I said there must have been a misunderstanding, and it was just bots were messaging me back. Sorry, but and I could tell, and I'm getting frustrated, and I'm like literally fighting with a bot online
Hmm.
to try to reverse this. And then so luckily a human got back to me the next day and emailed me, "Hi sir, we're so sorry, that you felt this way, blah, blah, blah." And it was all resolved. I was just kind of like, I just spent I spent like a half hour fighting with a bot online. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
is that sad? Do you find that sad that it's gotten to that level that we're literally fighting with people who aren't real?
Yeah, I mean it is frustrating. I've been in those scenarios too. And I mean, there are better approaches to doing that for sure. And just being able to free up people to work on, like, you could produce a massive knowledge base that you could like self-serve some of this from. You could improve the site itself. I mean, that sounds like it's a questionable practice that they have, like Adobe style, just loop you in for the full 12 months without really telling you that's what they're doing. But I see that all the time, people getting frustrated. I see it in person now because I'm in LA and we have Waymos everywhere, and you'll see them stop on a roundabout and people getting stuck behind them and just kind of honking their horn. And it's not doing anything. There's no person in there. It doesn't care that you're frustrated. And that's the most frustrating thing, I think, is that you can't get through to it. There's no engagement from it. It's just this kind of thing that's in your way, and you can't do anything about it. So, yeah, there's definitely improvements that can be made, and like ways of freeing people up so they can spend more time talking with customers and maybe like remove chunks of work that keep them away from doing that, like documenting the conversations that people had and like boiling that into some kind of knowledge base that other people can read and share. Like that's a valuable thing that you can do rather than just throwing a bot in front of customers and hoping it doesn't cause issues, because they always do.
Like let them do the fighting for you, like I don't know how to deal with this customer. I'm going to ask AI or ChatGPT and they'll tell me exactly how to do it. But then you're able to tell when ChatGPT wrote it because they have those big dashes, like those big, I'm not even sure what you call them.
VM dashes. Yeah.
Yes, and you look at them and they're so long. I'm like, who? Nobody writes like that. So you have people that they want to argue back to somebody online. They don't know what to say, so they go to ChatGPT and basically they write the comeback for them, copy and paste it, and then but it's like, dude, like, come on, or just be an adult and call the person. Just yell at each other over the phone. I don't know. Like it is kind of ridiculous these new levels that people are stooping to for I get it. It's the new time. I always try to say to some people who are very old fashioned, like, "Oh, come on, guys, we're in 2025 now. We're going into 2026. We just got to adjust to the times." But there are some things that it's hard to adjust to, like AI, which is basically we're just going to lay people off because it's cheaper. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but it's really when you're trying to save money, I understand that. And for you as a CEO and everything, we're able to see both sides of the coin for sure. How would you compare? So you started Fanfare. When did you start Fanfare again? What year did
Uh,
you start it?
it was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay, right on. I guess there really hasn't been much of a difference, but what would you describe the difference between when you started Fanfare 2 years ago versus where it is now?
I mean, I think the tooling has, like I say, it's moved incredibly quickly over the last couple of years, especially around engineering. And like I'm able to get more done using it. Like I'm able to like use it as almost a kind of rubber duck. And if that expression makes sense to a lot of people, but essentially just kind of talk something through and try and pull in maybe knowledge that I don't have about platforms and other things that I might use to try and vet my ideas out. But it's always me making the final call. Like, what is it that we should be building? Please help me just kind of clarify my thoughts and fill missing gaps that I might have in my knowledge, and then we'll make a call. So it's definitely been useful for that. And I would say just in filling gaps. It's helpful in just being able to talk something through and have something try and answer something directly rather than trying to scramble around and do Google searches to try and find how you do things. So, starting a business as a first time founder, there's a whole slew of things that you don't know and you quickly need to get up to speed on. And like your original sources for that was grabbing a bunch of people on a call and just trying to like tap into their knowledge, or just random Google searches, which is also inefficient and painful. And often you'll find information that's not relevant to you if you're in California and you find a bunch of stuff that's from somewhere on the east side, like it may not be applicable to you. It's helpful for that. So I think it allows you to take on more with like the tools that you have, and get things bootstrapped and up and running. I think it also allows people to like bite off a smaller problem or a more niche problem that they may not have taken on themselves in the past. Like I remember 20 years ago, if you wanted to start a software company, you were having to think about like racking and stacking servers. You had to find a place for them to live. You had to physically go to somewhere, buy the things, stack them up, plug them in. Like you were going through so much that you don't even think about now because there's a service that provides that for you. And like yeah, I think smaller teams can take on larger problems, but they can also focus on niche problems that just doesn't have a good solution right now. There are countless. So my girlfriend works in the government, and she talks about people filling in forms and people getting confused and not being able to find the information that they need to go about this. Like there's a business there. Like it's addressing a very niche concern, but there is a way of creating something that solves that problem for people. And I think there's enormous potential in doing that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I love what you say too about large teams and small teams. How important is it for any type of organization to have, because it's one of those types of scenarios where there are some organizations that they're big enough that you need more people, but they're small enough that you don't need that many people. Like it's really interesting to kind of see and weigh out both options of like, okay, can we afford to pay this many people, or just the workload has gotten so bad we need to bring more people on. I don't care what it costs. How do you like? What would you kind of classify as like what's necessary versus like what do you need in terms of like numbers on your team?
Yeah. So I've done kind of a Goldilocks tour of company sizes through my career. So I started life at a 7-person startup. We were scooped up by Salesforce in 2006, 2007. So we went from being 7 people to, I don't, Salesforce at that time was still reasonably small, but by the time I left, it was tens of thousands of people. And then I went to Optimizely, which was kind of medium-sized company, like growing quickly, hundreds of employees, solving interesting problems. And for me, staying nimble is important, right? Like I think the larger companies come with some bureaucracy, some hurdles that slow people down for sure. I think once you become like a cog in the machine, it's very difficult to get people like super excited about the problem they're solving. Often they're so far away from the customers that they don't really feel the problem. Like when you're at an early stage startup, you feel the customer's pain because they will call you directly, right? Like there's very few barriers between you and hearing about and getting direct feedback from your customers. And that's what I think, that's what I want. That's I think you miss something when you have those layers of abstraction added for you. And like as an engineer, as someone wanting to solve problems, it's kind of interesting being able to take on a broad set of things, which again, like a startup really affords you, is you get to wear many hats. You kind of you experience a problem and there's not a dedicated team to solve exactly that problem. Whereas a large company, they've been through it 1,000 times. There's probably a group of people who solve exactly that problem. And that I think is really interesting because you learn all kinds of aspects about the business that is outside of your area of expertise. So I definitely want to keep things small and nimble. When I think about people that we urgently need, there is an urgent need. I don't think hiring just a number makes sense. I see a lot of people do that when they raise capital. They'll assume that they have to be a certain size because of the amount of money they've raised, not trying to think about what problems they want to solve and the people they need to bring on to solve those problems. So for us, it's is is there an urgent need for someone to solve this problem? Are we hamstrung because we don't have good people to solve this problem? Like there are thousands, millions of people who are much better at marketing than I am. And if this person can move things along at 10x the speed because I am not effective at doing this, then we should bring that person on immediately.
This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Holy Hydrogen. Okay, guys, let's be real. We all try our best to stay hydrated, right? But not all water is created equal. That's where Holy Hydrogen comes in. They've got this awesome device called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition, and it takes clean water to the next level by infusing it with molecular energy. That means you're not just drinking water, you're giving your body extra support with every sip. Better energy, less inflammation, and a real boost to your immune system. So try the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition today by going to shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran for $100 off your purchase. Again, that's shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout. Stay hydrated and stay healthy. Yes, no, and um like there's always so many different angles, and then like some companies, people will go to them, well, you guys need more people, you guys need more people, there's not enough people on staff, and sometimes you're just like, you think I don't know that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you think I don't know that? Like, it's sometimes it's hard. It really really is hard when you're trying to weigh both options. Like we can't afford it, we can't, there's just no need to have this many people on, so like you kind of, there's just a lot of factors that come to play with that. And so for you being a CEO, you guys have is that more stressful for you? You not just founded it, but you're also CEO, you're the big boss. Like, how would you describe the levels of stress that come with it?
Massive. Like the buck
Yeah,
stops.
there.
It stops with you. I think especially in the early stages, like you are jumping all over the place. Like you are building it, you are marketing it, you are jumping on customer calls all in the same day. And that context switching is incredibly painful. It's difficult to like narrowly focus on something for engineering and then bring yourself all the way back up again to talk with investors and so on. So it's hard, and like, you are ultimately responsible for the failures, and you have to like really figure out exactly the right mix of people for the team going forward, and understand what that's going to look like and the risks involved in everything you do. So it's incredibly stressful, but that's that's part of it. I think that's I've definitely missed many hours of sleep doing this, and probably aged myself a few years unnecessarily. But I also get to solve problems that I wouldn't have solved at a larger company. I get to learn things that I wouldn't have done if I was at a larger company. So it's kind of, there are pros and cons to it, but I wouldn't trade it.
You become so multifaceted too, which is a great thing. It's always a great skill to be able to walk away. Maybe I work in the accounting department, but hey, I learned a lot more about what it is to be a boss. I don't know, like I shadow my boss or whatever, and you kind of pick up some of those skills too. You know what I mean? Like you're able to. There's really a lot more skills that you pick up that you're like, okay, maybe if I were to switch jobs, I have experience in doing this. That's what it's all about, really. It's so you're not just tied to one thing, and that's what I say. And talk about how if you're going to be in the entertainment industry, you need to be multifaceted, because if you want to just work in the entertainment field, it's hard to get in as just one thing. Actors are also writing and producing stuff. They're also, working behind the scenes doing different things. Maybe they're working crafts and food and things like that. Like catering. It's you got to pick up multiple types of skills for sure, and it's not just the entertainment industry, but all industries really are like that. Fantastic stuff, Michael. It's really great to see what you've done through this amazing platform. What would you kind of tell the viewers as like a sort of call to action for Fanfare?
So we've just gone through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'm sure people have been stuck in queues and have had all kinds of failures through that process. We're entering the holidays, and this is the time that people find the most frustration around these kind of processes. So I would say if you're frustrated, if you want a better solution to that problem, and if you want to advocate to the brand that you're frustrated with and have them fix their process, please reach out. Always happy to talk about this stuff, whether it's ticketing, whether it's live events, whether it's festivals that you might think of that are coming up. Like we can help you for sure.
Fantastic, fantastic, guys. So we're gonna put the link in the episode description to where you can find Fanfare, reach out to Michael, all that amazing stuff, and his great team. Michael, thank you so much, man, for taking the time to come on. Hope you and your family have a very good, safe holiday season. Hope you're staying warm. What's the temperature where you are right now?
Oh, it's I just came back from the UK where it was in the 40s and the 50s. It's 70 something. LA is ridiculous. It doesn't feel any seasons whatsoever. It's just always shorts weather.
We're in the minuses where I am right now. It's minus 13 where I am right now. So, yeah, no, I should be wearing a scarf or something like that down here, but the mini split's still not doing it for me. I'm still cold. But
stay warm.
I'll try my best. I'll try my best to edit this really, really quickly so I can just go into somewhere hot. I don't know.
Hibernate for the winter.
Yeah, just hibernate. Michael, thank you so much, man, for taking the time to come on again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was great being here. Thanks.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the Corkin Entertainment Show today. We'll see you guys in the next episode. But until then, this is Frankie and Michael Dodsworth signing off. Cheers, man.